It was our first date, and we were sitting in an empty theater chatting before the movie started, and he said, "I know where I'm gonna get married." Because that's first date conversation. "Really? Where?" "Well, there's this little chapel in the Swiss Alps." "In Garmisch?" "Wait, what? How do you—" "Oh, I have a framed picture of it on my wall back home my grandfather gave to me." "Well, that's weird." "Anyway, I'm having 3 kids, boy, boy, girl, in that order." "That is weird. That's exactly what I'm having. Boy, boy, girl." We got married in a tiny chapel in Pacific Palisades, and we are now the proud parents of 3 grown children. Boy, boy, girl. It wasn't like it was always smooth sailing. When our first child finished 2nd grade, I said to my husband, "I think I could fail at homeschooling him, and he'd still be better off." Public school was not cutting it. My 2nd child was remedial in reading, and my homeschooling was a disaster. I thought, "He needs school." So I enrolled him in a tiny little academy, and the first day, the headmistress tested him. She came back to me almost apologetic. "Mm, he's reading at a 5th grade level." "Wait, so I'm the one with the problem?" "Mm, it seems so." It didn't compute. So I left him there. And driving home that early Monday morning, I could barely see the road through the tears in my eyes. My throat was tight with frustration, fear, anger, confusion, disappointment. I pulled the car over, feeling like a complete failure. I loved my kids, but my love wasn't enough. Hold on, wasn't it? I homeschooled for a year and a half, and my 2nd grader was reading at a 5th grade level and doing 4th grade math. Well, obviously, I could do a good job. It was my own insecurity that was the issue. So I was public schooled all the way through. I learned you trust the teacher, you trust the system. You give the teacher what they want, you get a gold star. Schools train dependence, that there's only one way to teach and one way to learn and lots of ways to fail. And all of those arbitrary school rules had deeply impacted me. And they stress inability, not excellence. So I've been comparing my little boy to some undefined metric of perfection. He wasn't excellent at reading. He was only 8 years old. Was I expecting Shakespeare? The more I thought of it, teaching my son wasn't the problem. I needed to change my thinking that schools have the lock on education. And I did it by realizing one simple thing: children love to learn, they're born curious. Rather than expecting Charles Dickens, I needed to trust the process. I only needed to ask myself, is he improving? Because that is really the only question that matters. The number one indicator for academic success is parental involvement. It's no wonder that homeschoolers test, on average, 25% better than public schooled kids on standardized tests. And that phenomenal result is completely unrelated to the parents' level of education. It's not necessary for parents to become teachers to homeschool. The parents' emotional investment inspires their children to learn, to desire to learn. There was a single mother in Detroit in 1960 whose little boy was the class dummy. Despite Sonia's only third grade education, she required her little boy, Ben, to write her a book report every week that she couldn't even read. Today, that former class dummy, Dr. Ben Carson, is a world renowned neurosurgeon because his mother invested. The first step to freedom is to recognize how easily and how eagerly children learn new things by teaching them something new. So think of something fun to show your child, like a big word. I taught my 2-year-old boy the word reconstitute using raisins in water. My husband chose to teach him the word testicles, obviously. Of course, teaching children language and number recognition is fun because it's the first step toward empowering them to teach themselves. And after all, we are all self taught. We even joke about how useless our own schooling was. When concerned parents embrace the innate curiosity of their children, they can overcome their sense of inadequacy and become the homeschooling heroes their children need. Start by teaching your child a new word. Download a vocabulary app on your phone or crack open a dictionary or get one of those word a day calendars. One word can open up the whole world. Teaching your own children is easier than you imagine, and it's more rewarding than you ever dared to dream.